all the big calls on all the big races. Welcome back. It's time for another What a Shout. Dave Orton here, steering the ship somewhere in the capital on a Thursday morning. That's the first thing to say. Going out nice and early for you ahead of the two-day meeting at Ayr, Scottish Grand National time. Who remembers 12 months ago when Lucinda Russell came on, told us about Mighty Thunder. In fact, she napped it and it went and won. Who have we got for you this weekend trying to repeat the feat? Only the trainer of the favourite, Kitty's Light. Christian Williams beans back. He's quickly becoming a friend of the show. Cannot wait to go down to Glamorgan and get the top words from Christian. Of course, if you want to get involved, anything on the chat, like and subscribe. You can do that on a YouTube channel, Facebook, of course, and anything on Twitter. It's hashtag What a Shout, brought to you by our sponsors, Bet365, who are represented in the studio by Pat Cooney. We had to do a little dance, didn't we? Jiggle of things about, but you made it, man.
I made it here, yeah, and it's a funny time of the year, isn't it? We had the Lincoln last year, so we've all got our flat racing hats on.
Yes.
And now we switched to our jump racing hats for the week.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the National Road, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So, yes, plenty of money around this weekend and the big races, so looking forward to it.
G-Rod joins us back. Thank you for coming in, Graeme. How are we?
Yeah, very well, Dave.
You're looking like you lost, I don't know, a little bit more svelte to my eye. We had Keeley come back from his, big sojourn, didn't we? Came in, got 31 pounds I lost just for Cheltenham. But you're quietly going about it in your own way.
I noticed the slimline kills when he was last on and thought I'd better try and copy him.
You're drinking herbal tea, I can tell you. He's got a mug with herbal tea in it.
I love lemon tea.
Right.
Yeah, it's much to Male Rose.
Is there any reason why you're going on this
Well, yeah, I've been challenged to go on the zip line. In the summer.
What zip line?
They do a zip line. We're going on holiday to Centre Parks.
Oh, you love a bit of Centre Parks.
We love Centre Parks, don't we? They do a zip line, right, where you come down and across the lake. Now, there's a weight limit on the zip line, and let's just say that I was slightly above the weight limit before the diet.
I'm wagering this panel would have a bit of an issue with the weight line.
So I've had to commit myself to dieting so I can get on this zip line.
Yeah, and are you on target?
I'm on target, but I've still got a fair way to go. Yeah.
I'm spending Aintree a week with you as well. You're going on a bit of holiday. I think you've gone long odds against me. All right, well, great to have G-Rod back with us as well. Is this a meeting you like, Graeme?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? And I like it. I like it being now, because otherwise we'd be dealing with that rubbish at Newbury, wouldn't we?
Yeah, now why is it now? A lot of people are asking this. We were signalled, obviously, right at the start of the season when the calendar came out. We saw it, didn't we? But it's a bit of a conundrum for trainers, isn't it? Has it lessened the Scottish National to get a bit of politics out of the way, shall we, before we have some fun with the show?
I don't know. It's still a prestigious race in its own right, isn't it? But I suppose it becomes less of an afterthought, doesn't it? You'd enter at Aintree, and if you fell early on, well, we'll rock up a couple of weeks later at Ayr. So it does stand alone this time around, and maybe the class of runner isn't as deep as it was in previous years. But it's still a fiendishly difficult race to try and solve. Yeah, there have been lots of videos about past winners, of course, Red Rum, and all that sort of thing, and Corbière, and all. It was in the past, Graeme, when they were a bit hardier, maybe, that they used to go from Aintree to have a crack at the Scottish National. And if a horse falls in the big one at Aintree, they used to have another chance, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
But I must admit, I quite like it. I think it's the start, isn't it? Scottish, English, Irish. I quite like it.
Yeah, and then the Bet365 Gold Cup at the end.
You're getting this game, man. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, but this is the time of year for your staying chasers to come to the fore, isn't it? And I like it because in this position, I think it does give the Saturday a real big betting race. Whereas this Saturday without this race here would have lacked that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So. There you go. Let's have a look at what we've got exactly coming up on the show. We'll be going down to Wales. Christian Williams joins us, as mentioned. Really good interview with Christian coming up just before he's set on the 7-hour trek up to Ayr. Decent team he's got going up. And then we'll be looking at all the big race previews, mainly Ayr, but mainly one at Newbury as well. The Mare's Novice Hurdle, we must not forget about that. All the important weekend winners. And then we'll be saying ta-ta before the National. Right, without further ado, the moment most of you have been waiting for, let's go down to Wales, because I think we're going to have to start calling him the Wizard, because Christian Williams joins us back. Now, you may remember, viewers, if you were lucky enough to join us for Ida weekend and at Kempton as well, Pendle weekend as well, for the Coral Trophy, there was a big 1-2 and a big win up at Newcastle. I mean, Christian, let's go to you. Kitty's Light, of course, found your stablemate. Cap du Nord too good in the Coral Trophy. And Win My Wings, my man, didn't she scoot up in the Ida? You must have had a bit of What a Shout luck coming close to you.
No, it's been a great. We're obviously lucky to have these horses in the yard, and they seem to be coming right now this time of year. So we're obviously going into a big weekend and going in with plenty of confidence.
Yeah, you got the lot, didn't you? Look, you've got a new painting behind you. You got a new shirt on. Looks like you're about to go and rock down Barry Island.
No, that's great. Yeah, the horses left at 9 o'clock this morning, so they seem in good order. Did their last school on Thursday. Tuesday they schooled last, and last little piece of work then on Wednesday. So we sent a 4 up there, so we think we're going up with a good team.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we can talk a lot about the Scottish National. We will be previewing that in its entirety a little bit later in the show for you viewers out there. But Pat, let's bring you in. It's before the Grand National.
Yeah.
So that's been a bit of a conundrum for trainers planning since late last year. And as soon as the anti-post markets came up after the Ida and that weekend at Kempton, Christians have got it by the short and curlies, haven't they?
Absolutely. Well, Christian's horses are the 2 market leaders at the moment, Kitty's Light, and what a terrific run it was at Kempton as well, under an excellent ride from Brian Hughes. And then a little time after that, Win My Wings showed stamina, no problem at all. And you looked at the pair of them thinking, well, they look like Scottish National types, and they've been very popular in the market. It was helped by Christian saying, yes, both are going to run. So
both are going to win is what he said.
And you do look at them and you think, well, if you're only as good as your last run, these two have got very, very solid claims. So I wish him well.
G-Rod, let's bring you in. It's not easy to bring off these plans, is it? But that was a big Saturday double, brought Christian to prominence. I guess the market's not going to be missing him from now on.
No, obviously saddling the first 2 favourites in the Scottish National, so I can't be too many trainers who have done that in the past, can there? But I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see which one is going to win, isn't it? One of them's going to win, isn't it?
Let's try and find out, shall we? So, are we looking at another forecast, I should say, Christian? And more to the point, who's the buzzer?
And we obviously thought with the changing of the dates at the start of the season, we thought it could be a race worth targeting. So it's obviously very competitive, plenty of runners. But we just thought the race could cut up a little bit more than the Bet 365 at Sandown. So we think that both horses deserve to take their chance. They're owned by two separate owners, and it's all about the horse as well. There's Kitty's Light deserves to run in the race. We think the track will suit him, the ground will suit him, etc. And then how can you not, let Win My Wings? I'm not sure if the mare has won it before. She was the first mare to win the Ida. She looked very impressive doing that. How could you not let her run in the race, take a chance, and see if she can win the race?
She was always going to go up a whack for that, Christian, wasn't she? But I remember covering the race live, and on the exchanges, she went odds on before the home turn. And let me tell you, as a man that watches these things quite closely, that's almost unheard of. And it's not like it's a short home straight at Newcastle as well. She's taken a whack in the weights, but you've got quite an interesting jockey booking that Pat wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, Christian, Wing My Wings. I was wondering who would be the lucky jockey to get the Mount Honour. And I noticed it's Mr. R. James claiming 7, which he may not be a household name to many of us, but he has a tall reputation in Ireland. And I was just wondering how you came about to think of booking him for the ride.
I couldn't see the mare beating Kitty's Light, and I thought that the handicapper was quite harsh, and I never usually moan about the handicapper, but I thought him putting her up £6 for winning the Ida, and she's already £2 well in. So when I was thinking about it, running off an £8 higher mark, trying to win the Scottish National, I couldn't quite see her getting her head in front. But the more we thought about it, then, and we thought if we could try and take £7 off her, just get more excited, and thinking that we're bringing her back into the race, and obviously giving her a chance then of competing with Kitty's Light then.
Well, you've got a top conditional on basing. Now, Jack gets back on Kitty's. There is no panel that knows Kitty's Light better than this one. This show has been championing him since he just turned 4. It's been a great ride. We spoke in the week and you said he was a bit unfortunate, wasn't he, to bump into Captain Orr, basically, off 127 at Kempton.
Yeah, I felt a bit sorry for him turning in there, having to try and match tries with Captain Orr off 127, but But no, he ran an absolute blind. He's been great this year. He hasn't won a race, but he's won, nearly £70,000 in prize money. A lot of people moan about the prize money, but Kitty's Light has, won nearly 70 grand in prize money this year. But don't think anyone can deny that, the horse deserves to win a race. So after what happened last year in the Bet 365, he just got touched off at the Chepstow this season. And he's obviously a classy horse. I think he's the only horse in the race to be placed in level weight races. I finished second in the Charlie Hall. So he's very classy, and he's a bit. And these two horses give hope for everyone. Like Win My Wings was not sold at Ascot sales, £9,000 I think we give for her. She was not sold. She was there for people to buy, and we bought her outside the ring after the sale. And then Kitty's Light cost £5,000 then as a yearling from a flat sale. So it just gives hope to, it's tough to buy horses at the moment, but the horses are out there. And with Kitty's Light, with his flat pedigree, he worked so well at home. He'd work like a 2-mile horse at home. He's a great workhorse at home. And the fences were just getting in his way, but it was only us that were trying to turn him into a 4-mile staying chaser. If you look through his pedigree, he should be running on the flat. He'd probably be winning races on the flat. But we tried to turn him into the staying chaser, and his jumping's got better throughout his career, so hopefully he has a clean round, and the two of them run well.
Well, those are the two then in the Scottish Grand National, the big race of the weekend. We had a bit of a joke, didn't we, before we came on when we were getting ready and everything. Which one is the first string? I had to say that with a straight face then, Christian. Come on, which one's the first string? I'm not jumping off the Kitty's bandwagon now. Not a chance. He's going to light up. I know he is.
No, I think everything's in Kitty's Light's favour. The only thing is the weight. He's obviously a small horse. We've gone on about his flat pedigree, carrying 11 stone 6. But no, he's a classy horse. And then, Rob James taking the 7 off the mare gives her a big chance. So I just think the two horses in the race, I probably wouldn't swap them for any of the other 22 runners. And wouldn't swap either one of them. So be hard to split them there, and the market's got them priced up accordingly, and the form looks fairly solid. The two of them throughout the year. So hopefully they go with a good chances and have luck in the race. Hopefully they travel well to the races. Hopefully they'll be relaxed now the next 2 days before the race, and everything goes to plan then, and hopefully they both run well.
If they're anything like their trainer, they're going to be pretty chilled out, I think, going into the race, that's for sure. Well, you can't tell us much more than that. We will be dissecting it and tell you which we think on the panel is the first string a little bit later on. There are other runners, though. You'll, of course, as I mentioned at the top of the show, this is going out on Thursday, so nice and early for you out there. Christian does have a runner on the Friday, and you quite like this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to tip him. He's called String to Your Bow. I think he's running in the last race, and he chased home Shearer last time. Shearer's running in the first race against a hot pot called City Chief. I'm going to tip them both because I think they're both good horses, and they came 12 lengths clear. So what I want to know, Christian, is he going to win? String to Your Bow.
Yeah, I still can't work out how he didn't win the other day. He came there travelling well down to the second last and the last, and take your hats off to the winner. So try not to pick holes in our horse too much. Perhaps the winner just stuck at it real well. And as you said, the two of them come a long way clear. But we'd be hopeful the String to Bow is still better than his mark. We're looking forward to him chasing next year. He's a big staying chaser. We rode him fairly handy in his novice and maiden hurdles, and he was very keen at Exeter in his last novice. He ran disappointing, but we rode him real quietly at Newbury, and he came home really well. So we'll ride him the same way. He doesn't actually jump and travel like a 3-miler, but stuck at it fairly well at Newbury, so be hopeful that he would stay. But he did travel very well at Newbury, and our horses usually keep galloping, so we get him relaxed in the first half of the race, and hopefully he'll come home real well. The Scottish National meeting, the Coral meeting is great to we admire the meeting for the last few years. It's got bigger and bigger. And obviously, as a younger, smaller trainer, you hope to have horses to take to these meetings, and it's great. Now this is the first year that we managed to take 4 up there that all look to have good, solid chances.
Well, if you're watching the show after 5:15 on Friday night and you've missed a winner, let's hope we can give you another one, because you do have another runner there. Is it Groom Do Dairies, Christian? To my eyes, looked like he might have gone a bit quick after his promising run on his penultimate start. Would that be the case?
I think so. We think he wants a bit of nice ground as well, and the ground had been very messy at Taunton. I think he went up £6 or £8 for finishing second, so we forced a little bit to run him. But we think he's a nice horse going forward. He's got a nice pedigree and good French AQPS pedigree, and he wants good ground. So we're looking forward to running him. He's another horse that string to your bow with the two nice horses. We're trying to improve our horses all the time. Every time we go into the yard, we get a nicer type of horse. And they're only lowly rated, those two, both of them rated at 101, that's all. But they'd be chasers we'd be looking forward to running next season. And you'd like to think they'd still be well handicapped to win a hurdle race.
Yeah, I think so. He's a strong traveller, isn't he, Groom to Dairies? Well, Christian, brilliant. We know we've kept you a bit before you go on your wonderful adventure, 7 old hours up to Ayr, so we'll let you get cracking. But before we go, I mean, I've been saying all year, look, right, after what happened at Sandown in April 2021, Kitty's like the injustice that he didn't get that race. You've got Pat Cooney sitting next to me. It's the pot of pots. Is Captain Orr going to go for that, or could Kitty's try and still get back there yet? Let's have the money off him, man.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if a 3-week turnaround wasn't enough for Kitty's light, so hopefully he'll be able to run in the race. And I don't think Captain Orr's an obvious one to go there. He's entered, but you go to Aintree. Be great to get a winner at Aintree. Grand National Day. There's £100,000 handicap chase there. He'll probably go there, and then Captain will probably go to France then. But he obviously got the options, and it'd be great to have a runner in the Bet 365. So we'll be doing everything we can to have a runner there. And Kitty's light at this stage would probably be the one to run there.
Right.
And as I said, Captain Orr, probably Aintree and France.
Fingers crossed he comes through with a 1 next to his name going back for the Right Justice race, Pat's big race in April when the curtain comes down on the jump season. Christian, you get the feeling 31 winners on the board this season. You're genuinely enjoying life. We doffed your cap. I mean, we have a bit of fun about it, Christian, but that was some feat on Ida Day and at Kempton as well. Here's hoping. I'm sure the viewers will be showing you a lot of love. Get your comments in, Christian, below. Safe journey, man.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Let's go up to Ayr then. We've heard from Christian. That was superb stuff, as ever. He's a top man, isn't he? But the 150 is a novice chase over 3 miles. Maybe some Cheltenham afterthoughts here. I suppose we could say that. There is a quick break, of course, now between the Scottish National Meeting and Cheltenham. And Dusart, I'm sure, in 5th in the Brown Advisory. Where he was rowing away a long way, but Ronnie Bartlett, Scottish connections, he's going to want to run here. Is he a right favourite?
I believe so, yeah. I thought it was an honourable run, wasn't it? We've been 14 lengths behind L'Homme Pressé. Well, not many are going to be any much nearer than that to him. And he's always been a hype horse, really. It's not quite been there in the form book, but any time you speak to someone in the yard, it's, oh yeah, he's a right good horse, and he may yet be. So he's top weight. Is he a bargain? Is he well handicapped? Well, he beat Sail Away, who reopposes on Saturday, at levels by 5 lengths. Yeah. He's got to give him £12 this time around. So you can't really say he's a well-handicapped horse, but he is a classy horse. And if he's okay after Cheltenham 17 days ago, that's up to Nicky Henderson to make the call there. I'm sure all is well with the horse. So on balance, I think he's the likely winner. I just keep thinking he's probably better than the form book shows, so I'll stick with him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Graeme, what did you make of his one at Cheltenham? Is this a bit of an afterthought, or is there one lurking? Sounds Russian's been a bit of a 1-1-1 machine.
Mm. Yeah, it's always a difficult one, isn't it? Because Dusart obviously brings the Cheltenham Festival form from the top yard, and Sounds Russian comes in with loads of one-buys and aim up at Kelso and places like that. And it's hard to evaluate, I think, like that sort of form compared to Cheltenham. I just thought that the value was probably with Sounds Russian because he is improving. Obviously, Dusart coming off a quick turnaround, around 2 weeks, isn't it? 2.5 weeks since Cheltenham. And I thought that a lot of people are going to throw the ground thing at it, but as you know, I'm not a massive ground punter. I think he'll be fine on this ground. Ruth Jefferson, flying along.
Good to see her having a big Saturday horse after losing weight impatiently again. A few owners have gone elsewhere, haven't they? But this is her late father Malcolm used to target this. I agree. Look, he's getting only £2 from Dusart, but we don't know how good he is. I thought Sail Away at the pick of the weights. You know that Skelton targets this meeting. I think this has been, I like it, you know, heart over head for me. Big fan of Dusart's. I'm aware of what happened to him with his injury and stuff. It's been great to see him come back and make the Cheltenham Festival, but I think giving £12 to his old adversary, I'm not sure about it. So sail away for me for the Skeltons.
Yeah, and as you say, you know, there was only 5 lengths between them at levels. I thought Dusart beat him handily. I didn't think he beat him £12 handily,
No.
so it's an intriguing race for sure.
Yeah, okay. Let us know where you think you're going to go in this race. It's 150 and you've got a range of opinions from the panel. Let's have a trip to Newbury, shall we? 2:45. It is a well-established Grade 2 handicap series final of the Mares series. You've seen going around Ludlow and Newbury and places like that. You need 3 runs to qualify. You see Mares trying to go into graded company, and then when it turns out that they're not quite up to that mettle, they end up here. Now, I have got one in this that I cannot abandon. It's Speech Bubble. I absolutely love this for the Williams stable. Backed it to beat Love Envoy last time at Sandown. If she was still green, she walked through the second last when having a chance. And we know what Love Envoy went and did at Cheltenham. So for me, she's top weight, but she's won at Newbury. She won't mind the drying ground. This is a tool, Pat Cooney.
Yes, it's not often you can say a top weight in a handicap is a well-handicapped horse, but she does seem to be, as you touched on, honourable run against Love Envoy, came out and won at Cheltenham. So the form is there. She's got a good progressive profile, course and distance winner. John Joe O'Neill Jr., a worthy favourite, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
When she was second, Nina the Terry was third that day. So she's still in the equation,
Yes.
although disappointed perhaps at Cheltenham last time out. Speech Bubble, 11.10. I was trying to go down the handicap, starting at the bottom and working up. And I look at Sabrina, 10 stone 2, Paul Nicholls. And it's not often you can say about a Paul Nicholls horse, but doesn't jump very well.
Yeah.
You know, with apologies for connection.
And get scrubbed along a bit.
Yeah, so she's not your typical DNA Paul Nicholls type of horse, but she jumped an awful lot better last time out. And I keep looking at Speech Bubble 11.10, Sabrina 10.2, Paul Nicholls, Harry Cobden.
She's in a different parish to this bat. Speech Bubble is a juggernaut, right? She's
Yes.
going to beat her.
But
See the ball, Big Pat.
I'm 10 stone 2 and you're 11 stone 9.
Give me another couple of points on it, and I will let you have that argument. That's absolutely fine. Should we settle this with G-Rod?
Yes.
It's an interesting little race, isn't it, every year?
Yeah.
I do like Speech Bubble's form. I back to Love Envoy at Cheltenham because she looks really, really good, don't she? She went through.
Did you get that?
race
Did
nicely.
you?
Love Envoy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was going to go to the Irish, didn't they?
Yeah.
Again, apart from Mr. Britt over there.
Yeah, of course.
The patriotic G-Rod.
Well, I did okay until Friday.
Right, okay.
I didn't make a winner on Friday.
Which is when all the favourites won, yeah.
Well, Ireland won every race, didn't they? The problem is the price here is a bit short, I think, Dave. What do you think? Obviously, you think it's a good thing and you take any price on it. But
Pat mentioned Nina the Terrier, and she didn't have her ground at Sandown. And if you watch that back in your members club, the replay, she looks like she's... Again, I analysed that race and I thought, here she comes. This is a danger. She just got bottomed out, but they went to Cheltenham, and again, like Dusart, who we've already covered in the 150. This is now, where do they go for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Whether she's going to go chasing Nina Terry or not, I don't know. She doesn't look as big as Speech Bubble. In fact, you compare them. One's massive, definitely go and chase him, but I think she'll confirm that form, to be honest.
yeah, she might do. I like Good Luck Charm. Honeyball. Last time won well at Exeter's, quite a good price. I thought at double figures. It's hard to make a form case as to why she should be beating Speech Bubble, but she is quite lightly raced.
You mentioned Anthony Honeyball there. At the start of the season, I was covering a few of his mares in the paper, who he was looking to aim at this race. I remember kept getting quotes. I can't remember the exact name. So the fact that she's here means that he always targets this race.
Yeah, he does well with these sorts of horses, doesn't he? The Honey Monster.
Swinkham Flame, I'm going to say. Is the one.
Swinkham Flame.
Of course, the other one to consider is Corey's Courage of Ollie Murphy, unbeaten. And she's probably a serious contender to
You're
the
doing
bottom.
everything you can to put me off back in this fav, aren't you? All right.
See, the thing with that Sabrina horse is like...
Did you put it in the paper last time? I've got an association with you and Sabrina.
Yeah,
Sorry, Mrs. Rodway.
Funny enough, her name is Sabrina.
No way.
No.
No way.
Yeah.
Blimey.
But I tipped...
Your wife's name isn't
Well, if only.
Yeah, no, I did tip Sabrina in the paper last time that she won. Yeah, My main reasoning was that there's only 2 flights in the last sort of half mile at Wincanton.
And she obviously
she
won.
don't jump very well.
She drifted out as well, I remember, didn't she?
Yeah,
So,
and she came through and won. Now there's 4 flights, I think, in the last. So she's got to jump 2 more in the last half mile. And she's not a great jumper, as you said, Pat. But she did jump better that day.
Okay, all right. So look, it's a tasty race. I like the Fav. Pat's trying to put me off it. You know what that usually means. Back up the high road to Ayr we go for the Scottish champion hurdle. Last year's winner Milkwood takes his place. And West Cork, of course, representing the county hurdle form. This looks like a decent renewal.
Yeah, we got Milkwood, who won the race a year ago. West Cork, who ran a mighty race in the county hurdle behind that excellent horse State Man, who could be anything. And of course, West Cork's just had the 3 runners to his name. So yes, would he have had a hard race at Cheltenham? Well, a 4th in the county hurdle would suggest yes. But he is fresh. There's not much mileage on the clock. So he's popular. I quite like One More for the Road, who had a break and then was an excellent 4th in the Imperial Cup. So they're all those types of high-class handicap form at the top coming to the table. And the ones at the bottom, you got Socialist Agenda, who won up north. And again, you know, that's trained by Laura Morgan, Adam Wedge. OK, this is its toughest task so far, but going the right way. Anna Bonina of John McConnell. Every time he has a run in England, they always seem to win. I don't know why. So it's a real deep old race. And I think West Cork, I think just about merits being favourite on that county hurdle form. I say Stateman, everyone thought, well, look, he could just be a good thing. And, well, he won very well. I quite like one at a sexy price here. Alcamar over James Moffat, Charlotte Jones claiming 5. Now, this horse put a real winning sequence together, then unshipped last summer. We've not seen him for 171 days, so you're thinking, oh, well, where's he been? But I do know when we sponsored the Moor Battle at Kelso, he was a non-runner on the day.
You liked him for that, didn't you? I remember you mentioning it.
And Connections withdrew him because of the soft ground that day. So there was nothing wrong with him, and they would have been very, very optimistic of a mighty run on good ground in a Moor Battle hurdle. I'm thinking, OK, well, what if he won it or was second? He would come here with a decent chance. So I don't think fitness is going to be an issue for him. So the 171-day layoff, bit of a misnomer. He could just be one of those horses that is bang there at a double-figure price with 1 to go.
For the Moffat stable, Chief Dan George. He used to be with Godolphin Alcamar, didn't he? He's a classy sort. Graham, where are we looking?
One More for the Road definitely wants better ground than he's been running on, and he's been running well on soft ground, hasn't he? It was an amazing run when he finished second to Tritonic at Ascot, because he wanted to lead that day, and there was a whole bunch of horses that wanted to lead too, and he couldn't get to the front. He was forced wide the whole way round. Bryony just basically had to scrub him the whole way, and he still looked like he might win, only to be caught by Tritonic on the run-in. West Cork obviously brings the other Cheltenham form, the State Man form from the county, having finished 4th. But he was right revved up for that race, wasn't he, after a long layoff? And if he wasn't able to win there, I know this is probably not quite as strong, but I just wonder 2 weeks later whether he can back it up.
This is going to give us a steer for Aintree a little bit. I know it's a week before, so 7 days if you like, but there will be lots of people worried about backing Cheltenham horses at Aintree. We have it every year, but it is a quicker turnaround this year. I mean, if they all win at Ayr, then people aren't going to be so worried about that. So it's West Cork, you imagine, with that having had a very good run at Cheltenham.
Yes.
Maybe Dusart, who we mentioned again at the top of the show, not quite so, not such a hard race. We will see, I think. So, not hinging on that. Who was the tip?
I'm with Voix de Rev at a huge price.
My Lord.
Yeah, I think that he finished 5th in the Moor Battle hurdle.
Even Pat had an emoji face going on there.
Well, that Moor Battle hurdle, right?
I thought he'd fallen off the zip line. We
can still wait for that one. Hopefully Sabrina will film it for us.
Give it time. No, that Moor Battle hurdle, since you started putting up the bonus, is a really strong race.
Absolutely,
every year. Last year it throwed up loads of winners, and this year Voix de Rev's already come out and won since, and there's a horse running on Friday here called, I think it's called There Is No Doubt, who was just behind Voix de Rev, and I quite fancy that might run well on Friday. And I just think that Voix de Rev is still well handicapped, even of his current mark.
He used to be in the Wiley colours, do you remember?
He was a very good horse at his absolute best. Tom Midgley came in 5, was on board last time.
And they've often overfaced him, haven't they, in fighting fists and things like that. And he's
this was his sort of track, wasn't it, when he was a younger horse?
I can't believe I'm talking myself into maybe backing one.
Have a little each way on him, big price.
I suppose, look, horses come back to form. He did something that he doesn't do usually, his win last time out, but none of you have mentioned the winner. Well, Pat did actually when he was going down the line, but Anna Bonina wins this.
Anna
Again,
Bonina.
I'm seeing the ball quite big this weekend. I've got mares on my mind. This is dangerous. But she was second last year to Milkwood. She got a big swing at the weights. It's not gone right for her this season, but if ever, John McConnell, who you mentioned, Wiley, and if she's off levels with, who's the horse of Laura Morgan's again?
Socialist Agenda.
Who beat her, of course, when they last met at Musselburgh, but she's now on levels with that. She's got. If she gets a ground again, this wins.
Yeah, I tipped that horse that was second in that race yesterday, though, at Wincanton, and it ran absolutely abysmally.
Well, I would
5 and 20.
So here's an interesting thing for a punter, isn't it? When you're looking at the form like that, if you see something that's been tailed off, right, you can't use it to whack the form because it hasn't run its race. If it gets beaten into third or fourth, you're thinking, maybe that wasn't a good race. So once again, you've let yourself down there in a big way. All right, Anna Bonina, who's with me? 3 o'clock a day. Small Field is the future champion novice chase. This is a tricky race, perhaps the trickiest race we will preview today. It's a case, Graham, isn't it, of who's going to turn up on their game?
Well, yeah, every race is a case of who's going to turn up on their game, isn't it, Dave? Of course.
You're batting that one back to me.
I don't think it was that difficult. I think Do Your Job will just win, won't he?
I'm annoyingly going to agree with you because he looks like the one. He had to work a bit. It was a handicap last time, wasn't it? Was it Newcastle where he won?
Yeah, Newcastle.
And the horse he beat, Informateur,
Yeah.
he had to work a bit harder than I thought he was going to. But at the start of the season, he was running up against Edwardstones and wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Edwardstone, third time luckies, all that lot. Now, obviously, big drop in class last time at Newcastle. Came good, and he's going forward, isn't he, at the right time. Now, in these novice races, particularly novice races like this, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for horses who are going forward at the right time on the day, like you said. And the great thing about novice races like this is you're not going to get stung by a horse who was really classy, who's come back down the weights and then suddenly bounces back out of nowhere. That happened to me last week. Remember Elegant Escape? So he won at Ascot, didn't he, on Saturday? He just seemed to look, and then suddenly bang out of nowhere, he's back to form. And that can happen to you in handicap.
Did you miss
races.
that? Because it's the Sunday card, which everyone forgets is on.
It really bothered me.
Yeah, I'm happy days.
Yeah.
But Do Your Job. Is that what we call him?
Yep.
Do Your Job, yeah.
Get it right, Dave. Do Your Job. He does look like he's the one that's maybe targeted the race. Again, you're noticing that the panel are going for this a little bit. We're hanging our hats, aren't we, on horses that are maybe not coming with a plan Z. Whereas you have to think that Kilteely Briggs, I know that Max McNeil and the family have gone up now. Big David have got big runner in the biggie. And he did too much too soon in the Ultimate, but they sponsor that race, of course, so that was his big target. So I would think maybe he would be the danger. You don't know about Il Ridotos and this sort of thing, but what's the market going to say?
The market, I can see it ending up leaning towards Do Your Job, just because he's got more going for him, as Graham says, on recent form. Yes, he was entitled to win last time out, but his overall CV reads quite well. Manila Drama, he was disappointing when he came down south last time, wasn't he? We always expected him to run a lot better. Maybe there was an excuse, maybe there wasn't.
Has he been on the go a bit long, that horse? That would be my suggestion.
Possibly, but he's had that 35-day gap. If he hadn't run last time out, you could warm to him a little bit more. But there's only the 5 runners, and I just keep coming back to Do Your Job on the basis.
Wow.
His form does look just about the best on show to me.
All right, it only took about 4 races, but we're all agreeing on the Michael Scudamore good thing. 3:35, it is the Coles Scottish Grand National. Every year we look forward to this. As I mentioned earlier on the show, we doff our caps to what a shout because we managed to give you the nap of Lucinda Russell's Mighty Thunder. We're hoping that Christian Williams, does the same. He's one of the good guys, Pat, isn't he? And he genuinely has got 2 very, very strong chances. He couldn't split them, can you?
Yeah, I have to give Kitty's Light the nod, really. My worry is the weights have gone up. He's got 11 stone 8 now, and he's not a particularly big horse, but we can't do anything about that. He was second in our big race at Sandown last year, was the moral winner of it. Second in an excellent race at Kempton last time out. Good ground, yes, flat track, yeah, it's all right there. He has been popular anti-post. He is a popular horse. He's only 6. He seems like he's been around forever, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he is sure to go off at favourite. He won't be much shorter than 4 to 1. I would imagine with the first 6 places that firms are going to be, I'm sure there'll be plenty of 5 to 1 out there. And I think he's just got that type of profile. Whatever you fancy, he's worth having a saver on at least. For his other one, Win My Wings, I was a bit lukewarm really about her chances. I thought the handicapper was a little bit harsh at Newcastle last time. I love the jockey booking, Mr. Rob James claiming 7, hugely talented rider in Ireland, so still very much in the equation. But there's plenty in with the chances. I think Stormy Judge is interesting, an Irish horse, just had the 2 runs this year. and Danny Mullins booked. So Danny Mullins is a significant jockey booking for that one. In the end, I'm thinking, well, is there a bet in the race? And I'm just looking at the each way. Firms will be first six for sure. And I thought there wasn't much wrong with the Ferry Master, Sandy Thompson, Ryan Manning, fourth in the race a year ago. And I was watching last year's race, and he ran an absolute cracker a year ago, and that was on good ground. This is his second run since a wind-up. So are we going to get a better version of the Ferry Master? Probably.
I tipped him in the race last year, and Dingo Dollar, if you remember, finished ahead of him. It's interesting that Dingo Dollar's not here, because I thought all year for Sandy Thompson that he would be coming here. This is one of these horses that's probably would have liked to have come here, but with the Aintree conundrum, he's now going to try and get into Aintree.
Sure.
You understand that. If they're a little bit more patient with the Ferry Master, I think you're right. I think he could be a bit of a buzzer in the race. I just wonder if it's quite good enough. G-Rob, what did you think?
I like Ashtown Lad.
For the Skeltons?
Dan Skelton. God, this would be a big win in the Trainers' Championship, wouldn't it? If he could get it.
Yeah.
He'd be desperate to win, wouldn't he? The form last time out, I think, is good. Ahoy Senor was very impressive winning that day. Now, Noble Yates was second, huge eye catcher, since bought by the Wally Cohens to go for the Grand National.
So the who?
The Wally Cohen.
The Whaley Cohens.
The Wally Cohens, yeah. The fourth was called Saint Palais.
Yes.
Now that won a traditionally hot novice handicap chase at Utoxeter.
Yes, it did. Has Keith Melrose been crowing about that?
Yes.
He tipped that on this show.
Yeah, he loved it, didn't he?
He loved it.
He loves this weekend as well, unsurprisingly. But I thought that was really the strongest piece of recent form in the race, and he's had a 56-day break since, which is pretty good for Skelton, is it? We've gone through before and said that a lot of his horses run well off decent breaks. So
yeah.
I think that'll run well. Kitty's Light is the one to beat, but at the prices, I just couldn't have Kitty's Light at around about 5 to 1, I think.
Yeah, if Kitty's Light win this, I'll be making my way down to Glamorgan and having my picture taken with him. He's, I'm that much of a fan of the horse. We always have been. Everyone will know that. And I think this is absolutely the right race for him. But I'll throw in a couple of others. I thought Ashdown was interesting as well. His jumping slightly worries me. I know obviously he's a novice. Can't remember. Again, look back, have a look at that Weatherby run. This would have been the plan. And again, once again, we're going for things that are targeting it.
Yeah.
Perhaps we're trying to be quite sensible there. And the Wolf was the other for the aforementioned McNeil family, who every time he runs, he could run over 10 miles and only just get going at the end.
Yeah, he ran at Musselburgh when we sponsored the race up there, and he finds a way to get beat, doesn't he?
He does, but I wonder whether this sort of horse likes a marathon, you know?
And he certainly won for, your each way 6 places.
Yeah, they'll ride him cold, won't they? And he will be coming at the end,
and creep into the race.
Yeah.
You could look up with half a mile to go and think, hello, what's that one?
I've done me dough again.
I've been to this film a few times before, though.
I just think he might be one of those horses that relishes the test, so I'll check him in.
He is a real wealth-warning horse.
He's a howler. The Wolf. All right, so tips. All right, Kitty's Light on top for me, but I'll throw in the Wolf. Pat?
I'll go with the Ferry Master, sure to run a big one.
Biggie.
Ashtown Lad for me.
All right, that is the Scottish National. Done. Time for the weekend naps. Okay, where are we going? Well, I'm going to keep it simple going to the Scottish Champion Hurdle. You are currently, on Thursday, giving me 7 to 1 about Anna Bonina. Taken.
Yes, I'm going to go to Chepstow. Bet365 sponsor the whole card down there, so it would be remiss of me not to target one there. And I'm going for the 402 Sirocco Joe of Paul Nicholls. I thought had run okay in its last 2 runs off 119, 118. The handicapper doesn't agree because it's off 116 tomorrow or Saturday. I'm thinking, okay, I thought 119 was acceptable, so I've got £3 in hand already. We'll
love the ground and bidding to make it third time lucky over fences. G-Rod?
I'm with Do Your Job in the 3 o'clock at Ayr.
Keeping it nice and simple. There are your weekend winners on Scottish National. Well, what fun we've had on this weekend's What a Shout. Great to have you with us. Great to have Pat Cooney back in the studio. Aintree next week.
Aintree next week, 3 days. Hopefully I can survive Ladies' Day on the Friday before concentrating the mind on the big one on the Saturday.
Marvellous. Well, we need you somewhere on Thursday because we're going to go again on next week's Thursday, and we've got a little bit of a special show lined up. So it's a big week. Crowd's going back to Liverpool. Why not? So join us and Pat. Thanks for coming back. Good luck this weekend. G-Rod, good luck.
Yeah, good to be back, Dave.
You've got a little bit of adventure planned, haven't you? And you'll be back with us on Friday.
I'll be back on Friday, and Saturday's Grand National Day, isn't it? It's a great week, isn't it? A great time for racing the next month or so.
Brilliant. All right, and good luck with the zip wire challenge.
I'll make it.
Sabrina, if you're watching, take the camera down there. All right, great stuff. Thanks to Christian Williams coming on. Thanks to the guys in the gallery for sorting this out. Thanks to our sponsors, Bet365. And again, thanks to you for watching. From myself, Dave Orton, enjoy all the sport out there. Do gamble responsibly this weekend. Nationals only round the corner at Aintree, of course. And of course, don't forget to download the free Must Have Racing Post app. You can do it on the App Store or the Google Play Store itself. Ta-da!